How y'all doing out there, folks? It's PawPaw again. We're gonna cook a little bit of pork. I'll be right back. Well, let me tell y'all something. On that video I made, comfort food. Oh my gosh, I hadn't had beef in a long time, and it was so good. And I have had people say, "Now, PawPaw, you could have bought beef cheaper than that." I realized that, but this was Black Angus beef. I knew it was more pricey, but it was good. It was really good. And you know, I do like doing it cheap. I like doing it cheap. And I went back to the grocery store to get me some more carrots and celery and bell peppers. Dadgummit, that's what I forgot. Bell peppers. Shit. I knew I was forgetting something. I forgot bell pepper. You know, that's alright. It gives me an opportunity to talk to you a minute. I cannot understand how people think that just because you put a video on YouTube that they have permission to just talk to you like you a dog. Well, I had this one little boy, he says, watch one of my videos, and he said, "You need some head and shoulders for a dandruff. That's a sign of poor personal hygiene." And I responded to him. I said, "I don't have dandruff. I have psoriasis. Dry skin right on my forehead, right between my eyes. It's very aggravating." I said, "I don't have dandruff. I have psoriasis. Thank you very much. But I appreciate the fact you're a subscriber." If he had not been a subscriber, I just would have blocked him. But man subscribes to my channel, I'll honor his comment with a request. That's one thing about it. If you're a subscriber, I'll listen to you. I might not agree with you, but I'll listen to you. And then I had another subscriber. It was on a video about the revolver under $200. And he gave me a rash, said, "You must be a hoarder. That room looks like the back room of Salvation Army where I donate stuff." Well, again, he was a subscriber, so I honored his comment with a response. And I'm like, dude, while I was going to Iraq, there was a roof leak in my main home, and the entire ceiling fell in my house. And I don't have the money to fix it. So we moved out here into this one-bedroom home that I had built, and this adjoining what we call a Florida room. And so this is my computer room. This is the room where I do my vinyl lettering. This is the room where I do my etched glass sandblast engraving. It's where I do my computer work. It's where I do my videos. It's where I sleep. It's where I eat. It's where I watch TV. We went from a 2,200 square foot house down to this room and this little part over here. So my place is cluttered. However, I really don't think it's anybody's business. I'm presenting to you a recipe, and that's the point of the video. Let's check out what the recipe is. Who cares if I've got Campbell's tomato soup sitting next to batteries, sitting next to a busted cell phone on the shelf right here? That ain't got nothing to do with video. Pay attention. And I will tell you, I've been hurting all over. And I got online and I said, "Why is it if I drink a beer I feel better?" And they said, "Well, if you drink 2 liters of beer, it's like taking a pain pill." I ain't got no beer, but I do have some wine. And I did notice that when I drank a little bit of my wine, I did feel better. I'm not condoning alcoholism, but I figure what the hell, wine is made out of 100% juice and sugar and yeast. Ain't got a whole bunch of other stuff in it. There ain't nothing else in it. And it makes me feel a little bit better. My joints don't hurt as bad, so I'm gonna still say I don't take pills for pain. Anyway, in comfort food, the video where I cooked the roast, it was so good. Oh my goodness, it turned out so well that I actually cooked that thing 3 separate batches all the way until it was done. I mean, until I used all the roast. And ran out of roast, and I went and bought a pork loin. Like if you watch my video how to cook a pork loin, or my way to do it, wrap it in aluminum foil. That's what I bought. I bought one of those. I mean, you slice it. It looks like a big old boneless pork chop. It's beautiful, beautiful. So what I've done is I took that pork loin and I have cut it into 3 separate sections. So I'm gonna get 3 meals out of it. And this right here is gonna be meal number 2. I wanted to experiment with a recipe, make sure it was good. And oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's good. So let me tell you what I've got here in the pot, and we'll be going in the pressure cooker in just a minute. In here, I have 1 bell pepper that you just saw me cut up. I've got 4 or 5 potatoes. I've got 1 pound of carrots. I've got half a stalk or half a head of celery. And I have 2 baseball-sized yellow onions, okay? And that's what all is in here. And I took the pork and I sliced it like this is about, ½ inch thick or better, maybe 5/8 inch thick. I cut it like a pork chop, just sliced it. And then I cut strips out of the pork chop. So with my pork already cut down into smaller pieces, it should cook a lot faster. Now, if you watch my comfort food video, and I know this is comfort food too. If you watch the one with roast beef, all I added was salt and pepper. And this one I'm doing a little bit different. Because I found that by using some basil and some Italian seasoning with my salt and pepper, it just turned out, like Billy Crystal used to say, marvelous. I mean marvelous. Shit's good. That shit is good. Anyway, I can't tell you how many teaspoons or tablespoons or nothing like that, but I use basil. This is a cheap containers of seasonings from Dollar Tree, Anyway, I just put me a healthy dose of basil in there. I just went around a couple of times. Blind Mama, I'm sorry you can't see this. If I was to guess, I would guess that it was maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon, but I'm not sure on that. Then I put Italian seasoning. And Blind Mama, I would say that that's probably about a ½ teaspoon of Italian seasoning, if not a little bit better. Then I put a little bit of black pepper in there, maybe ½ teaspoon, maybe 1/4 teaspoon, and a little bit of salt. And that's going to be probably ½ teaspoon or less, okay? Blind Mama's Messy Kitchen is one of my subscribers, and I know she listens to all my videos, so that's why I want to give a special shout out to you. I hope everything's going good for you, Jen. Anyway, Jerry, I made a boo-boo when I made this yesterday, in that I didn't make sure my vent was closed on my pressure cooker, and it actually boiled itself dry. Fortunately, this is a non-stick container, and as soon as I could smell it, I knew, whoa, wait a minute, and I was able to catch it before it actually burned anything. So I poured about 1.5 quarts of water in here, and it's 3 inches from the top of this container. So we're going to put it in here. I want to put it in at I'm going to put it in for an hour, because I got my potatoes in here this time. I'm going to cook it for an hour. I've been cooking for an hour and 10 minutes. We're going to cook it for an hour because I backed off on the size of the meat, because I've cut it into pieces now. So like I said, a word to the wise, make sure that your little vent thing up here that, that allows the steam to escape is rotated clockwise. And we're going to go to the program number 8 timer, or program, cooking program. And I'm going to time cook this for 1 hour. And we'll be back. Well folks, right now, we still got 45 minutes before the pork, loin, and vegetables, I don't know what you want to call it, but anyway, before comfort food number 2 is done. And I thought I'd just throw together a batch of cornbread right quick while this is making. And what I want to tell you was, one neat thing about cornbread is it's a good base for anything you want to put in it. You want to put bacon or ham or hamburger or ground turkey or chicken or anything in a pan of cornbread. It's just good. The Mexicans use maseca, which is their cornmeal, which is ground really, really, really fine. And you know, they used to make tortillas and burritos and gorditas and tostadas and chips, you know, like Fritos and all that, and tamales, and they'll mix anything in with it. So, you know, we use our cornmeal as a base for whatever we want to put in there. So, I had noticed that I had some jalapenos. As you can see, these are red. These jalapenos was green when I bought them and laid them up on the shelf and forgot about them. And I had an onion. Well, it's about a little baseball size, maybe a little smaller, and I cut off 2 or 3 slices of it. And I grabbed me some mild cheddar cheese. And I diced that onion and them I diced up 2 jalapenos. Now the seeds, I saved the seeds to hopefully plant next spring. But that's the jalapeno flesh. And that's like 2.5 slices of onion, diced up real fine, and just a handful or so of mild cheddar cheese, shredded. And what I want to do is I'm going to put this in my cornbread. So let's get right with it here. Making cornbread is not a big mystery. It requires a little bit of oil, and I'm just going to put a little bit of oil in there. And they talk about using milk, and if you ain't got milk, you can use a little bit of water. And then let's see, I want to put a couple of eggs in it. Normally they call for 1 egg. Since I don't have milk, I'm going to put in 2 eggs to help bind it together good. Also the fact that I've got all these goodies I'm adding to it. Want to help hold it together. Of course the cheese you could technically say is milk once it melts, but you know. And let's see, let me get the eggs mixed up real good. I guess I could have brought a whisk, but that's alright. Ain't nobody here trying to be fancy. If you're trying to be fancy, you want me to be fancy, at the wrong house. Oh Lord, 42 minutes, that pork will be done. Alright, and I'm going to put oh, cup and a half, 2 cups of cornmeal in there. I'll add more later if I need it. But all I'm doing is I'm not using a mixer, I'm not using a whisk, I'm just using a spoon. And mixing this up real good. I will tell you this, you want this to be a little bit runny when you pour it in a skillet. Now I do have my cast iron skillet in the oven right now. And it has already preheated to 350 degrees. Now I don't know if my skillet is that hot, but the oven has already given me the signal that it is preheated to 350. So I'm letting that skillet sit in there. It's a cast iron skillet, a little bit of oil on the bottom, and I'm letting that get good and hot. And I do want to show you that this right here is not watery enough. But I want to get my onions, my jalapenos, and my cheese mixed in there now. And if I have too much volume of food here to fit my little 8-inch skillet, heck, I'll just mix it up with something else. Bake another cornbread. This is pretty right here. Boy, I like that color. Look at that red showing up in there. Some jalapeno cornbread with onions and cheese. Man, what you talking about good? All right. Now, as you can see, this right here is not real runny. See, it's kind of stiff. I want to add a little bit more water to it. I'd add milk if I had it. I'm gonna add a little bit more water to it. Because I want this to pour into the skillet. And if I went a little bit too overboard with water, I can always add me a little bit more cornmeal back into it. I get a lot of criticisms about whether or not my stuff is clean and all that. Well, it is, but here's the bottom line, people. Don't worry about what I do. If you want the ultra clean environment, the germ-free zone and all that like you have in your home, then you bake in your home. Don't worry about mine. Just take the recipe and do as you wish. Alright, that's about what I want right there. That's about what I want right there. Alright, now, what I'm going to do is I've got my cutting board here, and I'm going to set it down, and I've got a cookie sheet I'm going to set on top of that cutting board. I'm going to go get that skillet out of the oven, bring it in here, set it, and let y'all see this cornbread sizzle in the skillet. I like it. I like it a lot. Ah, yeah. That's hot. If your cornbread don't sizzle like that, you ain't gonna get that nice brown crust on it. So, I had some other people say, "Oh, PawPaw, I didn't realize I was supposed to get that skillet hot first." Oh yeah. Get that skillet good and hot, 350 degrees. See how it's cooking on the outside? That cornmeal is frying right then and there, it's frying. Alright, so I'm gonna go stick this in the oven for about 20 minutes. Oh, I love the color of that cornbread. You can see the red jalapenos. You can see the onions peeking. The cheese. I washed out this pie plate. Look at that. I love it. I love it. That's the way it's supposed to work. Look at that beautiful crust on that cornbread. Folks, there's gonna be some good eating now. Oh, yeah. All right, so there's the cornbread. And I got 4 minutes left on the cooker over there. So I'm 4 minutes away from some good victuals. We'll be back in a few seconds. Oh, we got us some jalapeno cornbread now. Man, you talk about good. We got jalapeno and cheddar cheese and onion. My wife likes that jalapeno cornbread. Got that little plunger drop now. It says it's safe to open. Oh, look at that. Now, come here and look at this. Look at it.
I can see it. Looks good.
God, it looks good, don't it? Well, folks, I don't see nothing wrong with that meal right there now. We're gonna get us we got us some good vegetables, some pork loin, and some jalapeno onion cheese cornbread. Oh, it don't get no better than that. Y'all have a wonderful day, and I better tomorrow. Bye, everybody. I'm gonna eat now.